All right, class, we're gonna do one section today. This section is pretty easy. All right, this section is pretty easy. We're not gonna have any class this coming Thursday. No class on coming Thursday. All right, so let's look at this. So we're gonna look at a voting system, weighted voting system. Think about it like we don't have a parliament system, which can kind of confuse you guys. If you guys know parliament democracy, then it might help you with the voting system. So let's look at the first one. Usually when we describe weighted voting system, usually we write it as Q, W1, W2, W3, dot, 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 Wn. That's your quota. That means that's the number you need to have in order to win. And these means individuals with weighted power. With weighted power. So think about that. If you have a parliament system, then each of the parties considered how much minister of parliament you have, and that's what it represents. And to be a prime minister, you need a majority, which Q represent the majority. Same thing as what is it? If you look at Israeli elections, what they had parliament system, and in order to become a prime minister, you need that majority. Now, out of that, you could have dictatorship, something like North Korea, where they have so-called democracy, but that democracy doesn't make sense. So you have situations like dummy voters. So dummy voter is a voter who is never needed to reach the quota. So think about this. Let's say we make it 5 and you have that's the quota. No, let's make this 11, and you have, let's say, 9, 7, 5, and the last one is 1. This is essentially the dummy voter. You don't need this to reach the quota right over here. You could use 9 and 7, or 7 and 5, or 9 and 5, but you don't need the 1 to get to that, to get to the majority. So in Israel election, you will always hear that the small party becomes a king maker. So smaller party with certain like amount of seat will give the majority, and that's how they become the clear voters, right? So that's a dummy voter. All right, now dictator. A dictator has a voter weight that is greater than or equal to the quota. So they could have a democracy, but the dictator could have a parliament system where dictator has the clear majority. Okay, there can never be more than one dictator. Voting system. So think about kind of like this. You have 41, that's the quota, right? But the dictator has, let's say, 60, then you have 3, 5, 2. These are all relevant. Think of this, these are kind of like dummy voters. They don't even need that. This is the one that makes it go over the quota, and therefore it's kind of like a dictator. So if you ever watch Chinese Communist Party, it's a one-party system, but they have like other parties there, but they're like for eyewash. It really means nothing. Veto power. It's not like the presidential veto power. It's just when you have a party system where one party, if one party doesn't agree to it, then the whole system falls out. Veto power is having enough weight to be necessary in every coalition that reaches the quota. Kind of like this. You have 8, 5, 3, 1. These two will veto each other. If 5 doesn't agree with 3, then 5 vetoes 3, and same as if 3 doesn't agree with 5, they can veto each other. So that's what it means by veto power. And that's it. This section is all we're going to cover about that. Let's try one problem on the book. Start that. Try it, number 8 on the book. We're going to do one more problem, and that's it. And again, those of you who are coming in right now, we're not going to have any class on Thursday. I will be here to answer your questions or concerns, but we're not going to cover any new topics. This question is super easy. How many voters are in the system? You have total 7. When you combine them, you have total 7 powers. But how many voters or how many parties do you have in the system? You have 3. And then, what is there a dictator? Yes. Sorry. What's the quota? That's 4. Is there a dictator? Yes. And then, there are no veto power. The dummy voters are 2 and 1. And there is no veto power. All right, let's try another one. Number 9. How many voters? So if you add all of them, 9 plus 2, 2 to 8, 8 plus 9, you have 17, right? But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 parties or 5. So you have 5 voters. The quota in this case is 10. That's what's given. Next question is there a dictator? No. No dictator, because you don't have any clear winner. D, is there dummy voters? No, because technically you could use any one of the twos to go over that. Do you have, is there any veto powers? Yes. Veto powers, yes. And those are all the twos. All right, this section is super easy. All right, so I'll stop right here. If you have a question, I'm online. I'm going to answer them to you guys.